Okay, so in today's lecture, we will basically see the next topic, that is ion implantation. So this is the last topic of the fourth unit. So previous to this, we have used diffusion for depositing or doping with the impurity to the semiconductor. So this diffusion is done for doping of different impurities. Similar ways is ion implantation. So in ion implantation also we will be uh, depositing the impurity atom on the silicon surface, and we should be obtaining either p-type or n-type of semiconductor. So there are some differences between diffusion and ion implantation. So first of all we will see uh, the ion implantation versus diffusion, like how the ion implantation is different from a diffusion process, and also what are the advantages and disadvantages of ion implantation is. So basically in diffusion we were using a different type of dopants to dope with the uh, semiconductor surface, and in that the diffusant are either in the form of liquid, solid or gaseous form. But in case of ion implantation we will be having the dopant in terms of their ions. Okay, so here we will be generating, we will be having high energy ions or high energy ion beams that will be, you can say, bombarded or injected to the silicon surface, and then these ions will be uh, going inside the crystal structure of the silicon uh, surface, and there it will be going inside the silicon surface. So this is how the process of ion implantation is going to take place. So in case of diffusion we were using different diffusant, and by using the furnace or reactor we were depositing the dopant atoms on the silicon surface. But in case of ion implantation we will be using the ions. Okay, so ions of the dopant will be moved or injected to the silicon surface, and once the high energy electrons, high energy ions are going to inject into the silicon surface, once it is going inside the crystal structure of the silicon surface it will be colliding with other atoms available in the silicon surface, silicon, and then it will be, as it is high energy ions are there, it will lose their energy as it is going to collide with the atoms of the silicon. So there the phenomena, the complete phenomena, like how it will be losing the energy once it is high energy ions, once it is going to collide with the silicon atoms, how it is going to lose its energy, that we will see the mathematical analysis later. But in case of doping we will be using here the ions, high energy ions of the particular dopant, and will be injecting to the silicon surface. Okay, so we will see what are the different uh, differences between ion implantation and diffusion. Okay, so basically in ion implantation, as we are going to use high energy ions or high energy ion beam of the dopant, here it is done for a selective, you can say, doping. Selective doping is basically done here, in that there is a less chance of contamination. Okay, so in case of ion implantation, if we are going to use ion implantation, there is a less chance of contamination, or it is considered like it is less prone to contamination. But in diffusion there is a high chance of contamination, because in case of solids there is a contamination because of the heavy metals. Okay, so in the gaseous or in the liquid there is a chance like there, while we are depositing the dopant, we can have some type of contamination. So this diffusion is not that much sophisticated process, but this ion implantation is the process that is very sophisticated, and it requires proper care and attention while bombarding with the high energy ion beams to the silicon surface. So okay, and we are just providing the ions of the dopant. That is and that is done in selective regions, so that is having less prone to contamination. But in case of diffusion, it is having high that is contamination chances. Also, in case of diffusion, here if we talk about diffusion, uh, in diffusion, if we are doping with suppose boron atom, okay, boron atom we are using for as a dopant, then only for boron type of dopant introduction, one reactor will be there. So this reactor cannot be used for phosphorus type of dopant, or it cannot be used for arsenic type of dopant. Okay, so these two type of dopants cannot be used on the same reactor in case of diffusion. Okay, but in case of ion implantation, we can have the same reactor. We can have same reactor, and through this we can dope with different type of impurities. But in case of diffusion, we cannot go with the different type of impurities for one dopant reactor. Okay, so in ion implantation, we can have uh, you can say uh, we can use ions, different dopant ions for doping. So here we can call it like it is more flexible. We can call it it is more flexible, uh, but in case of diffusion, it is specific. If a reactor is used, that reactor will always be used for boron or a particular specific type of diffusion only. It cannot be used for all type of diffusion. So this diffusion process is having less flexibility. We cannot change the dopant uh, in the same you can say uh, reactor. And if we are going to use, then there will be some type of contamination will be taking place. If we have done the boron type of diffusion, and now we want to do the phosphorus type of diffusion, we cannot use the same reactor. Here in case of ion implantation, as it is done in selective regions, and it is the ion beams are basically injected to the silicon surface. So here there is a better control to the diffusion, that is diffusion, or you can call it the impurity introduction. If we are going to introduce the impurity here, it is having better control. Okay, better dopant control. So in case of ion implantation, we will be getting better uh, dopant control. Okay, and also this ion implantation process uh, is going to take place at low temperatures. Okay, so in case of this ion implantation, this can be taken place at low temperature up to, you can say, at room temperature we can uh, do this. So this ion implantation can be done at room temperature, but in diffusion we require temperature around 1150 degrees centigrade for boron type of dopant. 1150 degrees centigrade is required, so it is done at high temperature. We can call it high temperature is required in case of diffusion. We can write here also. Okay, that is less flexible. It is more prone to contamination. Okay, the next point that we should be considering in case of ion implantation, So this ion implantation is basically less expensive. We can call it, sorry, this ion implantation is, as it is a sophisticated process, it requires proper care and attention, so it is having high cost, or we can call it is very expensive. So this is one of the disadvantages of it is the disadvantage of ion implantation. But in case of diffusion, it is the normal process, so it is less expensive. Okay, so as ion implantation need to be done in proper and proper environment, and there should be a proper care and attention, so it is uh, having higher, you can say, expensive, it is more expensive. And in terms of maintenance, if we call it, so this is having an implantation is having uh, it requires basically the uh, proper care and attention, so it is having expensive maintenance, so its maintenance is also costly. Okay, so its maintenance is costly. But in case of diffusion, the maintenance is easy. Okay. Okay, so in case of diffusion, the maintenance is easy. One more disadvantage of this ion implantation is it basically, when we are going to inject high energy ion beam, what happens sometimes, it may damage the silicon surface, as high energy ion beams are going to hit the silicon surface, so there is a chance of damaging the silicon surface, so it causes damage to the silicon surface. Okay, so it causes damage to silicon surface. Therefore, there is a process when some damage has been done by the ion implantation, then to recover that damage, or to correct or to remove that damages, a process called annealing is done after ion implantation. Therefore, we can call it the annealing process. Annealing process is done. Annealing is done after ion implantation. Okay. So there are the three disadvantages of this ion implantation. But in case of diffusion, does not, here it does not cause damage to silicon surface. Okay, so so ion implantation is, and ion implantation and diffusion both are the ways to introduce impurity to the silicon surface or silicon crystal. So silicon substrate is there, into that we want to introduce the impurity. So introduction of impurity is basically done for generating either p-type or n-type of semiconductor. So if we are going to introduce this impurity, if we are doing the same impurity introduction can be done either by using diffusion or by using ion implantation. So the diffusion is having some advantages and some disadvantages, and ion implantation is having some advantages and some disadvantages. Okay, so with respect to that, whatever method we can use, we can have. So even this ion implantation seems to be very good in terms of quality, but there is some disadvantage associated with ion implantation. So ion implantation is not used, you can say, for each and every type of doping. Basically, if we are going to provide the doping, sometimes diffusion process is used. Okay, because not everyone can afford this much of cost in case of ion implantation. But if you want to have a large production and for industrial purposes, this ion implantation is basically used. But for less, you can say, uh, if less availability is there with respect to the funding or with respect to the quality, if you don't have that much of facility, then diffusion process is used for doping. Okay, so this is the basic difference between ion implantation and the diffusion process, where we will be dealing with the uh, impurity deposition on the silicon surface. Okay, so now we will basically focus on the ion implantation and its mechanics, like how the system of ion implantation happens inside the silicon crystal. Okay, so here in ion implantation, basically energetic ion beam, that is having the dopant. So energetic ion beam of dopants is basically injected to the silicon surface. Okay, so it will be injected to the silicon surface. Okay, so once the silicon surface uh, is having this ion beam, what will happen is this ion beam will be penetrating the silicon surface. Okay, so as it is having sufficient energy, so this uh, ion beams will be penetrating the silicon surface. Okay, as it has sufficient energy. Okay, so it will be penetrating to the silicon surface. Okay, so once the ion beams have penetrated the silicon surface, it will be going inside the silicon surface. Okay, so what is the structure? A crystal structure is there, it will be going inside the silicon surface. Okay, so dopant here, dopant will go inside silicon surface. So dopant will go inside the silicon surface. So once the dopant have gone inside the silicon surface, then it will be colliding with the atoms of uh, silicon. So once it is going to collide with the atoms of the silicon, it is going to start losing its energy. It is going to start losing energy. Okay, and then once it is going to start losing the energy, then it will be kept within the silicon surface. So these dopants will be kept inside the silicon surface, then the doping will be done. Okay, so this is how the doping is done basically in case of ion implantation. But this start losing of energy is defined by two different uh, processes. Okay, so these two different processes are basically, one is by using the colliding with the lattice atoms. So once this ions or dopant ions are going to collide with the lattice atoms, it is going to lose energy, or it will supply the energy. It will supply, it will supply energy to the, you can say, charge carriers. Okay, you can call it the, it will supply energy to the uh, charge carriers, or we call it atoms, basically atoms of the silicon. It will be supply energy to the silicon. Okay, so here this is start losing energy. So energy loss is defined by either colliding or it is supplying the energy to the atom. Okay, so if it is colliding and it is giving the uh, energy to the atoms by colliding, that means this will cause, so once it is going to collide with the atoms, then this will be the causing factor for damage to the silicon surface. So this results in damage. So this will be causing the damage to the silicon surface, and this colliding is considered as this colliding is considered as nuclear stopping. It is the way of stopping the dopant ions. Okay, so once dopant ions go inside the silicon surface, it will lose energy. So it will be losing energy either in terms of nuclear stopping, or it is going to supply the energy to the atom. Then this type of losing the energy is called electronic. It is called electronic stopping. Okay, so once it is going to collide with the atoms of the silicon, it will damage the surface, and also when it is going to collide, it will result in it will result in point defects. So we have seen uh, like what are the point defects. Some type of interstitial or uh, some substitution type of defects will be taking place. So silicon atoms will be substituted by the other type of atom, or here basically the dopant. So once it is going to collide, so once these ions are going to enter into the silicon surface, it will be creating a point defect. So once it is going to create the point defect, then that means if point defect has been created, that means the dopant have been introduced into the silicon crystal or the silicon surface. Okay, so here this is how the ion implantation process is going to take place. Okay, so high energy electron beams, high energy basically the ion beams of the dopant will be going inside the silicon crystal, and there it will be losing its energy and it will be keep on staying inside the silicon crystal. So that silicon crystal, once it is going to be inside the silicon crystal, these ion beams will be forming defects, that is point defects. So this point defect will be assigned by this process. Okay, so once we have got the point defect, then generation of this point defect will be causing you the doping. So basically the doping will be done by providing the point defect. Okay, so here now we will define some other terms, like how it is going to lose energy. If it is going to lose energy, then what is the rate of energy loss by the ion um, ion beams basically. So here we will be defining the term called rate of energy loss. So this rate of energy loss is given by minus dE by dx, and that is considered as the n into Sne plus SEE. So here how the ion implantation basically takes place is, this is the silicon surface. In this silicon surface, the electron or the ion beams, this is ion beam, it is going to strike the surface. Once it is going to strike the surface, it will be spreading out or going inside the silicon surface. So that's going inside the silicon surface will be governed by this. Okay. So it is going to uh, be inside the silicon surface. So this distance it will be traveling. Okay, So this distance that is going to travel is called range. Okay, so here that is called range of this ion implantation basically, uh, and this is the, you can say, n is the concentration. What is the concentration of the ion beams that is going inside the target atoms? So this n basically defines the number of target atoms on which this ion beams are going to strike or going to inject basically. So once it is going to inject, this is the silicon surface, and these ions will be moving in direction. This, it can have a region of this, that means it is going inside the silicon surface. Okay, so how the rate of loss of energy, as it is going inside it will be losing its energy because it is going to collide with the silicon surface. Okay, sometimes there is a chance like it does not get collided with any of the atom. That is some separate process, we will see that later, that is called channeling basically. So we'll see that later. So here rate of energy loss is basically given by minus delta E by delta x. This is the distance moved inside. So what is the distance? That is with respect to distance, it is del E by del x is equals to n. So this n is basically defined as the number of target atoms per unit volume. So per unit volume, what is the target atom? So here target atom is the silicon atoms. So how much the silicon atom is there, and with respect to that it is Sn of E plus Sn of uh, Se of E. So here basically it gives the, in, you can say, here it will be giving the stopping energy. So here nuclear stopping is there and electronic stopping is there. So here stopping factor is there. So this how this stopping is going to affect this rate of energy loss will be having this function. So here either it is going for electronic stopping or nuclear stopping, it will be giving you out, that will be a function of energy. But as then nuclear stopping or particular stopping is going to take place, energy will be reducing. So with respect to energy, that will be the function of rate of change of, you can say, the energy. Basically the energy loss will be having the function of n, that is the target atom, that is silicon, and the stopping factor, the nuclear stopping or the electronic stopping. Okay, so here n is basically the number of target atoms per unit volume. Okay, and here R we have defined, so that R is called range, and it is considered as the distance traveled by, so it is distance traveled by ion while losing energy from initial value to zero. So here once the energy is zero, it will not be penetrating further. So here high energy is there, as it is going inside it will be losing its energy, and at this point there is energy is zero. Okay, okay, so this is the range. So this range is basically defined as, 0 to r into dx. So how much distance is it going to travel? So how much, this is, you can say this is the x distance. Okay, so how much distance it is going to travel, so this is dx. So we are going to integrate this distance with respect to that. Okay, so that will be your r value, and it is given from the equation that we have defined here, the rate of energy loss. From there we will be calculating the dx value, and that will be 1 by n 0 to E naught, that is the this is the initial energy, and this is the energy that is at the when the energy is zero at the outer boundary basically. Okay, so this is given by by putting the value of dx we can get this value. Okay, so that is Sn e plus Se. Okay, so this R is basically, okay, this is also called junction depth, we can call it a range or junction depth we can call. Okay, so this R value is given by this. So once this value we have obtained, okay, so this is the range value, that means up to which point it will be penetrating the silicon surface. Okay, and also we will see this R value, whatever this R value is there, one this range value, and this in the range value it is having one RP, we can call it projected range. Projected range is basically the average of this range value. So R value, what is the projected range value? So that is junction depth, that is called RP. So this RP is projected range, we call it. Projected range, it is called projected range. Okay, so this projected range is basically the mean, we can call it mean value of the range. Okay, so it is basically the distance traveled by the ions, we can call it the traveled by the ions in the direction of injected ion. Okay, so here this RP is the projected distance or projected range, or we call it junction depth. So this is in, if this is the incident direction of the ion beam, so in the same direction what is the range of the ion beam that is going to travel, that is considered as the junction depth, or we call it the projected range. What is the projected range? Okay. So that projected range will be this. Okay, and also there is a term called delta RP. So this delta RP is called the standard deviation basically. This is basically the standard deviation. So it is mean value of the range. This is the standard deviation of the range value. This standard deviation value is basically in terms of this VLSI technology, it is termed as stra- straggle. We call it straggle, or basically it is deviation from the mean, or we call it standard deviation. Okay, so this is in VLSI technology terms, it is called straggle. Okay, so these two terms we will be using. Okay, the next one is the n, that is the, with respect to the distance, what is the concentration of these target atoms, basically that is nx is given out to be n having a function of rp into exponential function of minus x minus rp divided by under 2 delta rp. So this is the function that defines the this target atom's concentration, and if we plot with respect to the x value, it is found out like it is this value. Okay, so at the maximum value, that will be the rp value, so at that the concentration will be high x. Okay, and this follows, so this is the basically the Gaussian curve. So this equation is basically the Gaussian equation representing the Gaussian nature. So the concentration of the target atom will be having the nature of the Gaussian nature, and this complete analysis, basically this analysis is basically considered, or this analysis is defined only for the type, like only for amorphous type of crystals. Like whenever in amorphous type of crystals are there, then there will be the ion implantation is going to take place. In that, uh, the structure that is uh, uh, crystalline, that any crystal is there, if it is crystalline in nature, there will be a specific crystal structure will be there. In amorphous, the crystal structure is not there. So there is a chance like in amorphous, when we are going to analyze the ion implantation, there is a chance like ions, that is ion beams are there, that will be hitting the atoms surface, silicon surface atoms, that will be hitting, or it will be colliding with this. But in case of crystalline, polycrystalline surface is there, if polycrystalline crystal is there, in that these ions are not going to communicate, or these ions are not going to hit any of the atom. That means it will be having, because of the spaces inside the crystal atoms, that can, there is a chance like it will not be colliding with any of the atom. Then if it is not going to collide with any of the atom, then there is a chance like there will be no energy loss will be taking place, and no ion implantation will be going to take place. So all this analysis, that is expression, that is defining the Gaussian nature, Gaussian curve, okay, basically the Gaussian nature of the target atoms concentration, that is defined as a Gaussian function only if the crystal that we are going to analyze is of amorphous type. Okay, but here in the analysis we are basically going to analyze the silicon surface or silicon crystal. So we have to assume like the silicon crystal is of amorphous nature. Or if the silicon crystal is not amorphous, we have to convert the silicon crystal to an amorphous crystal. Okay, so once it is amorphous crystal, all the analysis will be applied to the silicon crystal also. So whatever analysis we are going to take, consider, that analysis can be applied to the silicon crystals also. Okay, because basically we are studying the silicon crystal only, and different Wilson technology processes on the silicon surface only. So there are some methods to convert the silicon crystal to an amorphous uh, crystal. So this amorphous crystal conversion is basically done by different processes. So these two processes are basically used. One is called self implantation. Another one is implant implant through an oxide. If we are going to implant through an oxide, or by using self implantation. So here basically the single crystal that we go for analysis is of a single crystal silicon is there. So we in VLSI technology basically use the single crystal silicon. So to convert the single crystal silicon to an amorphous crystal, this two methods are used: self implantation and implant through an oxide. So in self implantation, basically uh, implantation of this silicon ions are going to take place on the silicon surface. If we are going to inject the silicon ions, silicon beams on the silicon surface, then it will be converting the silicon crystal to an amorphous crystal. Okay, so basically this directs the silicon silicon ion beam on the silicon surface for converting it to amorphous crystal. Basically, here large silicon ions can create large damage to the surface, okay, and causing large defects, and finally making the silicon crystal into an amorphous one. So here in self implantation, silicon ion beam is used to inject on the silicon surface. Instead of dopant atom ion beam, we will be using silicon ion beam only to the silicon surface. Okay, once we are putting this, what is it is going to do is it will create large damage, because ultimately it is going to damage the silicon surface as it is an ion implantation process. So it will be damaging to silicon crystal. It will be causing damage to silicon crystal. So large point defects, large point defects, large point defects will be forming. Okay, so large point defect is forming. That means the crystal has become the amorphous. Okay, so large defects are available, then it will make the crystal uh, amorphous. So if it is large point defects are there, that means there is a high chance of introduction of dopant atoms. Okay, so then ion implantation can be done by using ion beams directly on the amorphous type of crystal. In case of implant through oxide, basically here thin oxide layer is going to generate inside the silicon crystal. So here uh, thin oxide layer will be formed on the silicon surface, and that thin oxide layer will be behaving like, it will behave like amorphous layer, we can call it. If it is amorphous nature is shown, then their ion implantation can be done easily. So this thin oxide basically allows the ions to pass through its surface. So then this thin ion, simple oxide of that particular target atom can form a particular crystal into amorphous type of crystal. So then we can move for the ion implantation after the silicon surface has become the amorphous type. So amorphous type means it is not having its regular shape. It is having irregular type of shape. It is having certain defects. So this amorphous crystals basically results in less channeling effect. So we have seen the channeling, like in channeling what happens if the uh, polycrystalline type structure is there, any material is there, if it is having polycrystalline, that means it will be having some specific structure and pattern. And if the ion beams are introduced on the uh, crystal, and then that ion beams can pass through the spaces available inside the crystalline structure. So there is a chance like these ions are not going to collide with any of the atom of the uh, crystalline structure. So there is a, this process is called channeling. So in channeling, if channeling is happening, that means ion implantation will not be taking place. Ion implantation will be taking place only when the ions are going to collide with the crystal atoms. Okay, so to make sure like ions are going to collide with the crystal atoms, we have to take the crystal as amorphous crystal. Okay, so if we are having amorphous crystal, then there is a high chance like it will be this ion beams are going to collide with the crystal atoms, and then it will be creating the defects, and then the doping will be done. Okay, so this was the how we can convert the silicon crystal to an amorphous one. Okay, so we can note some points like, if the target is an amorphous, the analysis becomes simple. So whatever analysis equations this that we have defined, if so, why we are moving towards the amorphous type of crystal, because if target is an amorphous type, then the analysis is simple. So its analysis in case of ion implantation is going to be simple. Similarly, if target is an is a crystalline structure, crystalline, then ion can go in between spaces, atom spaces, and so and travel without colliding. So as the atoms ions can go inside in between the spaces of the atoms, it can travel without colliding. If it is traveling without colliding, so its analysis is difficult. If it is going to travel without any collision, that means it is not going to lose its energy. If it is not going to lose its energy, it is very difficult to predict the nature of ions that is moving inside the crystal. So it is very difficult to analyze. Okay, so to make this analysis easy, we consider amorphous type of target atoms. Okay, target. Okay, target crystal. Okay, and also one point, like the single crystal of silicon, we should be making it, because we always do this fabrication steps on single crystal of silicon. Single crystal silicon we use. So these silicon crystal silicon should be converted to an amorphous type. That conversion will be done by the above two processes. Okay, so this is how we should be converting with the amorphous single crystal silicon to the amorphous one, and we require the amorphous. So need, we can write here what is the need of amorphous crystal, because it is easy to analyze this amorphous type of crystals. And if this process we have seen here, if it is traveling without collision, then this process is called channeling. Okay, so if the ion beams are going to travel without collision, then it is considered as the channeling. It is following the channeling process. Okay, and one more point is like the ion implantation. So here basically this ion implantation, so this ion implantation is basically uh, dependent on two factors. So that two factor is, one is called dose, another one is called energy. So energy of the ion beam and the dose. Dose means the quantity, the concentration. These two are the factors that will be defining the ion implantation. Okay, so these two will basically control ion implantation quality and quantity also. Okay, so we will be dealing with these 2 points, like dose and energy. So what is dose and what is energy basically? Okay, so in terms of dose, so this dose is defined by the factor called phi. So this phi will be defining the dose, or the quantity, or the concentration. Okay, so this dose, that is phi, that is defined by using the total quantity, so of the total quantity of the target atom. So that is n x, that is the factor of x. We will be integrating with minus infinity dx. By putting the value of this nx, we can replace it by n nrp minus infinity e to the power minus x rp divided by, so from the previous equation we have seen, into dx. Okay, so as this exponential function, it is an even function, we can convert this, like it can be converted to 2 times nrp. From 0 to infinity we have converted this limit. Again it will be x minus rp divided by under root 2 delta rp So for this integration, we will be assuming this term as z, and we finally find what is dz is coming out to be dx divided by under root 2 delta rp. So by replacing this, we can get this phi value is coming out to 2n rp, 2n rp into root 2 delta rp integration from 0 to infinity exponential minus z square dz. Okay, so the integration to this value is coming out to be under root pi by 2 basically. So this is like 2n rp into root 2 delta rp into root pi by 2. So from there these two can be cancelled out. So finally the dose value, that is quantity, is coming out to be root 2 delta rp into n, that is function of rp. This is called the dose. So here from here we can conclude like this dose depends on first of all it depends on ion or ion beam, because basically this n value is the concentration of this ion beam that we are having, and that is a function of this junction depth or the range value that is having the maximum range in the direction of the ion beam injection. So this dose value depends on ion, or we can call it ion beam current. If ion beam current is high, that means this n value will be having high value. So if this n value is high, then we can call like this dose can be controlled by the if we are going to control this, because this is dependent on the ion beam current. So if this ion beam current can be controlled, then dose we can control, and if we control the dose, we can control the ion implantation quantity. Okay, so here this dose uh, can be controlled by user. Okay, that means nr value, nrp value can be controlled by user. So once this nrp value can be controlled by user, we can have the nrp value from this equation is given out to be phi divided by under root 2 delta rp. Okay, so this is how we can get this condition in case of nrp. Okay, that is the concentration at the time of range, that is uh, rp range is there. So depth of this depth, that is inside which the electron energy has reached till there is a zero energy, that concentration at that point should be nrp, and that is given out to be phi divided by root 2 delta rp. Okay, so this is up to this uh, we have seen like how this energy and also this dose is going to affect the ion implantation. We'll see the next point in the next class. Okay, uh, thank you.